All right, welcome back. Now, in our last session, we talked about having a purpose and having a goal set out there for your life. And now I want to talk to you about how we can set specific goals and even get into very practical tools in time management and accomplishing those goals. Because, a lot of us have goals, but then we're just frustrated at the end of the year when we realize, man, I didn't accomplish anything. All right, so how do we do that? So first, let's talk about the proper way to set a goal. I want to talk about a SMART goal, or actually a smarter goal. Now, this is an acrostic for the S is specific. It means that you need to be clear on what your goal is. All right. Now, the M is for measurable. How can you measure your progress? So not just this general thing of like, do better or be good, but how good, how much better? How are you going to measure when you reach this goal? Now, the A is for action. It means what are the actions that you need to take to be successful in reaching your goal? So this goal may be eating an elephant, right? But there's some specific task now that you need to carve out, right? So eat the left toe on the front foot, right? So carving out specific tasks that have action to them, okay? Because sometimes we just grow numb when we have this big, vague thing and we don't know what to do next. We just know there's this big thing there, and so we stand kind of in awe of this big old elephant. But if we have an actionable and a specific measurable task, that's easy to go do. My mind can wrap around doing something simple. All right? Now, it needs to be realistic, right? Because life happens. Right? You don't want to say, hey, I want to become president by next month. That's not realistic. Right? But you can pick something that's realistic, set yourself up for success. And the T is for time. So I want to achieve this goal by when? When do I want to be finished? Now, often the SMART goal stops there, but then there's also the smarter goal. So the E then for that would be execution. And when you have your goals all contained in one space, you can start each day, right, thinking about what do I need to do today to move this goal ahead. And then R is for reward. Choose a reward for yourself that you will get as you hit milestones along the way. Okay, let's say your goal is to, say, lose weight. Okay, so you're going to set a reward at the end of your journey. When I've lost this much weight, I'm going to reward myself with something. And hopefully your reward is not a big old apple pie, right? Because then that's going to work against your goal. But you can reward yourself with a little trip, going overnight to a hotel or resort close by, right? Simple things, doesn't cost a whole lot, but you set this reward out there, and having that picture is really powerful for accomplishing your goals. Now, you can get online, you can find all kinds of worksheets to create a SMART goal with, and they're all powerful, but you don't even need one. You can just remember SMART, specific, all right, measurable, is it actionable, is it realistic, and time-based. Right, when you have that in mind, you can create your own SMART goal worksheet. Now, there's been a lot of research and into what does it take to achieve your goals. And so I want you to watch this video that's really interesting, and it really dives in to self-control and what it takes to accomplish something in the future and what it takes to do right now.
Whether you're 5, 15, or 50 years old, one of the hardest things to deal with in life can be exercising willpower and making a sacrifice in the short term in order to achieve something of greater value later. It's one of those commonly accepted life lessons. But now it turns out there are more organized efforts to teach it to children. Our economics correspondent Paul Salman has the story, part of his ongoing reporting, making sense of financial news.
Clap twice. Put up your right hand. Put up your left hand. Put up your right hand.
This is the KIPP Infinity Middle School in New York City's Harlem, where in addition to the 3 R's, these predominantly poor fifth graders study character to maximize success in later life. Qualities like grit and gratitude. optimism and curiosity,
Snap.
zest and social intelligence,
Okay.
and one skill above all.
What is this talking about? Don't eat the marshmallow. Brittany in the back.
Self-control.
Okay, so we're talking about self-control.
In fact, they've been talking about self-control since the first day of school,
Someone share their
when
goals.
teacher Layla Bravo Willie gave
share their
all of her students the marshmallow test.
They come in, they have a marshmallow in front of them, and they're looking around like, what is this?
This is among the most famous experiments in the history of psychology, with implications for economics.
In which a group of 4-year-olds were given one marshmallow and told that if they could wait to eat the marshmallow after being left alone with it for a while, then they would be given an extra marshmallow to eat. Most eat the marshmallow as soon as they are left alone with it, but some other children are able to resist temptation.
About 1 in every 3 is able to hold off. And YouTube is replete with videos of kids struggling to not eat the marshmallow. So what's the big deal about self-control?
The big deal about self-control is if you have it, you're able to actually pay attention to the teacher and to learn.
Psychologist Walter Mischel devised the marshmallow test 50 years ago, running it on hundreds of preschoolers at Stanford University. 12 years later, he found significant differences between those who had wolfed down the marshmallow. They were now found to be more easily frustrated, indecisive, disorganized, and those who, as tots, had been able to control themselves. They were now more confident, self-reliant, and get this, scored about 200 points higher on the SAT. The powerful economic message is that if you do exhibit self-control at an early age, says Mischel,
You've got a much better chance of taking the future into account and likely to have better economic outcomes. But the idea that your child is doomed if she chooses not to wait for her marshmallows is really just a serious misinterpretation.
because the real message of his work is that self-control can be taught, says Mischel, to even the most out of control among us.
Me get this feeling when me see a cookie on the plate. Me want to grab it, want to eat it, oh me no can wait.
Cookie Monster's proverbial problems have been made quite graphic in recent years by imaging studies of what Mischel calls the brain's hot and cold systems.
The hot system is the limbic system in the brain, and it is reflexive, immediate, emotional. So in order to slow that hot system, you have to activate the cool system, the prefrontal cortex. The problem is that the hot system goes up when stress goes up. And when people are living under conditions of toxic poverty, those are conditions that create huge stress levels, and they make the hot system keep getting hot.
So, the earlier self-control is taught, the better, which is why Mischel teamed up with Sesame Street Workshop on a series of videos starring their guru of gluttony to teach tots how to delay gratification.
Me can take deep breaths, me can self-regulate, me wait.
But it's never too late to self-regulate, Mischel thinks. And so in the past few years, his ideas have inspired schools like KIPP, a nationwide chain of public charter schools serving low-income students, pushing high academic achievement.
This time we're going to try to make a goal that's very far away, right? We're going to try to make a goal around your report card.
Of course, older kids have self-control issues beyond cookies and marshmallows.
You are going to come up with everything that could possibly go wrong. Joshua.
Talking to my partner.
But you have to meet your goal. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna pretend like they're invisible and I can't see them.
Use your imagination. I love it. Brendely, can you share what your if-then plan is?
That my family will be very distracting and I won't be able to read that much and it will affect my brain.
Okay, so if your family is super distracting, what are you going to do?
I will go to my room and close the door and put some headphones on and then start reading.
Give her 3 snaps.
Both Brenda Lee and Joshua, it turns out, ate their marshmallows the first day of school. But both have come a long way since.
For self-control, I just pretend it's a rock, like a poisonous rock, and just do
A poisonous rock?
Yes.
What does a poisonous rock look like?
I don't know. It's like a white rock with mold all over it. When I come to KIP, I realize that if I wait, I get a bigger treat.
And his self-control strategy also works on another problem, his temper. Are you easily annoyed?
Yes.
But did you learn here how to control your annoyance?
Yes. I'll just take a deep breath and just let it go.
Did you actually take a deep breath?
Yeah, but sometimes when I'm like really mad, I take 2 deep breaths.
Have you ever gotten so mad you needed to take 3?
Yes.
Yes? What's the most deep breaths you've ever taken?
I've taken 5 deep breaths.
When kids get to be 10, 11, 12 years old, their temptations begin to be some of their own feelings. For example, the feeling of anger, the rising of one's own temper, the readiness to hurt someone else because they have teased you or provoked you or made you feel bad.
And so that's why the KIPP schools are teaching kids as early as possible.
Exactly. The relationship between good behavior, good consequences, bad behavior, bad consequences.
Right now.
Most KIPP students are chosen by lottery, regardless of prior academic record. Almost all meet federal poverty guidelines. And yet 82% go on to college, and nearly half complete a 4-year degree, 5 times the rate of the average low-income student. What's happening to the kids you grew up with who never went to a KIPP school?
You know, they're not in school. They probably have their own kids at this point. You know, they're living a very hard life.
Even among successful KIPP alumni, George Ramirez stands out. Born and raised in the South Bronx, a mediocre student pre-KIPP, Ramirez is now a senior at Yale, majoring in history and physics.
I think one thing that I learned at KIPP really well is that a lot of your effort doesn't reap any success until way later in the future. There's another marshmallow if you wait just a little bit longer.
KIPP isn't the only path out of poverty, of course. Teacher Layla Bravo Willie also grew up poor long before KIPP began, yet she graduated from Harvard. But she teaches self-control these days, sharing her own adult economic struggles with her students.
You know that Miss Bravo had some issues with shopping, right? I like to shop, and I'm trying to save money. So if, for instance, I come across a store that I like a lot, I will pretend that that store has bed bugs. Yeah, then I won't go in.
Now, do you really visualize bed bugs in the store that attracts you, or that's just playing
No,
to the
actually,
kids?
I really actually do. Whatever your marshmallow test is, there are always strategies that can help you. And we want to arm our kids with all the tools possible to be successful in life.
Tools that even the most recalcitrant can apparently learn. Paul Salman in New York and reasonably self-controlled for the PBS NewsHour.
Man, that's amazing, right? Little kids, what we learn from little kids, that marshmallow, right? I think I'm probably one who's going to eat the marshmallow. I just know myself. But you saw something in those students and the little ones, and even the teacher. They don't just rely on their willpower. They make some smart choices, right? So they come up with tools. They come up with other things. They might call them tricks, but it's actually smart tools in order to have the willpower that they need to have when the time comes. So what character trait might that represent, right? It can represent a lot of them, but I like how this comes into integrity. Because integrity really starts with self-leadership, leading yourself, doing the right thing when nobody's watching, right? And doing the right thing, whether it's convenient or even if it's deserved. So we truly have integrity when we make choices that are rooted in self-control and accomplishing those things that we say we're going to do. All right? So think about what those kids did with self-control. The ones that had self-control, what did they do to keep from eating the first marshmallow? All right? Now here's a question for you to pause. What do you do to delay gratification? What are some of the tricks that you do and have done that have worked for you? You can share those with the class on the discussion board because I think it'll help all of us. We like to think that people with self-control just have this really strong will. But I think it's more those who take the time to make the choice and put themselves in a place where they'll succeed. Okay? If you're trying to stop drinking, you probably shouldn't work in a bar. Right? Or you probably shouldn't hang out with friends who go to the bars. Right? If you're trying to lose weight, you probably don't want to work in the donut shop anymore. Right? So you can do things, and you heard the lady in the video, the teacher in the video, she had self-control issues with shopping. And so she developed the mental picture that every time she walked by that store, what did she imagine? Bed lice. So you can come up with pictures in your mind, or you can come up with a plan, but it takes a plan. All right? Here's another tool, is to get an accountability partner. I don't think that we're built to just succeed on our own. We're built for relationship. And I know that I succeed better when I have an accountability partner. Right, so each month I have a group of about 11 other men, and we get together once a month. And the things that I know I want to move forward this month, I share with them. And I put it on a to-do list out there for everybody to see. And when I come back next month, we all ask each other the same question. Did you get done what you needed to get done? Now, if I don't get done what I need to get done, one, it's pretty shameful, but two, I also owe 20 bucks. All right, so it's a little bit of pain. It's the opposite of the R and smarter goal, right? Adding a reward out there. Well, you can also set up a little bit of a penalty when you don't achieve what you wanted to. Now, another tool that you can use is what's called a motivation board. All right, now a motivation board is simply getting a visual or a picture of the things that you want. The things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to achieve, or the things that you want to have. It may be a relationship, it may be an item like a car, it may be a degree. I hope it's a degree. And you create a picture of that and you put it up on the board. You put it in a place where you can see it, like your bathroom mirror. A place where you're going to go not just once a day, but a couple times a day at least, so that you can be reminded, oh yeah, that's the thing that I'm really after. Okay, and you see, the cool thing about putting it on your bathroom mirror is that you see yourself with that thing that you want to go after. Okay? So it's a very powerful image that our mind, our thoughts can then change our behaviors. Now, how often do you come to the end of your day and you're like, man, where did my time go? Where did my day go? So there's an exercise for you that's an assignment in this course, and that is to keep a log of where your time actually goes. Now you need to be honest with this. I mean, there's not fooling anybody. Your time is time, and it's going and it's going. Time is one of those cool resources. I don't care who you are, if you're the President of the United States or if you're a busboy at a restaurant. Each of you get 24 hours in a day. And how are we investing or spending that time? All right, so sometimes, this is what happens to me, I think I'm spending my time a certain way. But when I actually record, and I do this periodically, when I actually record my time and log my time of where it went, and then I sit back and look, am I actually investing my time in the things that matter, or is my time going somewhere else? And here's an important question for you. Who is in charge or in control of your calendar? Who is in control of your calendar? You know the answer to that question? You. You are the only one in control of your calendar. Now, sometimes we like to believe that I'm not in control of my calendar. I'm just a victim of everything that comes into my inbox or comes into my door, or the obligations or the responsibilities. The fact of the matter is, only I am in control of my calendar. I make a choice. This is a free country, and I am free to choose how I spend this minute and the next minute. Completely my choice. Nobody's forcing me to do anything. It's up to me to choose how to respond to all those things. Am I just a drift in the ocean? Wherever the waves take me is where I go? Or am I at the helm, making choices about where my time is spent? All right, so after you've logged your calendar, after you've logged how your time has been spent, ask yourself that question. Does my calendar reflect me investing in the goals that are really important to me? Or does my calendar reflect me spending and just drifting in the ocean, the waves? Now, I'll tell you what, we live in a very noisy world. I can't run away from anything because this thing keeps buzzing and telling me all the different communications that are coming in. It tells me I've got emails. It tells me that the warranty on my car is about to expire and somebody wants to sell me an extended warranty. It tells me that the IRS is somehow coming after me, right? All these scams, all this noise coming. It tells me when there's a news alert. It tells me when somebody's got a birthday. It tells me when who knows what's going on social media, right? Noise is just always constantly bombarding, right? But again, I have a choice whether or not to listen or pay attention or act on any of that. And it is completely my choice to turn this thing off and put it away and invest my time in what really matters. Now I want you to watch this quick video that'll demonstrate how we prioritize our time on the things that matter or the things that don't matter. Take a look. Welcome back. Man, that is such a great visual. I use it around our house all the time. I ask my kids, hey, is that a big rock? Hey, are your big rocks done? And I use it for myself because as soon as I'm awake, the sand and the pebbles of life are just bombarding, right? And just begging to get my attention, begging to get my energy, all right? And it takes a very intentional effort to say, I'm going to focus on getting these big rocks done. And the cool thing is whenever I do that, I never feel like I lost out on anything. I don't feel like, man, I wish I had wasted more of my time on social media today, or man, I wish I had wasted more of my time watching the news headlines. I just feel great because I accomplished the things that I wanted to get done.